Krishna Vandaya, Krishna Krishna, Bhutani, Srimad Bhagavatham, Swami, Iti Nami, Krishna Vandaya. Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshadari Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshadari Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Run it down. Oh, you don't see it? Oh, this happened. We were playing a game.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasingaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya. भगवान की जय। डॉक्टर शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय गो प्रेमानंद हरि।
वेदांत प्रपाद प्रपाद एवं भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शिला प्रपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील ठाकुर प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम सुंदर राधा कुंज गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा मई की जय। यमुना मई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेम नंदी। All glories to assembled devotees Hare. All glories to assembled devotees Hare. All glories to assembled devotees Hare. All glories of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
But I don't think I've ever been more hungry than I am.
Take my jeans out.
No.
I think I'm gonna get it.
Okay. Sounds
Cause like,
weird to hurt.
no, it doesn't, my mom gets it. She says it doesn't hurt at all. But cause like, my hands and my fingers and my toes keep going like completely numb. Like just one toe or like one finger. Like remember when they got like my finger got like all white?
Yeah.
Like it keeps happening. And today it took me like 20 minutes like with my foot in a tub of like hot water to like get the circulation back.
Have you done coughing?
My cousin did it to me once on my back. I bruised it like crazy. So there's something wrong with my circulation. Like, I don't know.
When's the last time you ran? Yeah, one day.
Take a break. Probably like the day before we went skiing, or 2 days before we went skiing. Yeah, 2 days before we went skiing. Give me a ring.
And I wonder if you're drinking with you. For this or thinking about that boy from me saying too. And I think it's forever enough. You say it's time to go. You say it's time to go. You say
Did you look what time your baseball place closes at?
this is fun.
Okay.
No, I found the other one and I put it over there. No, I did. I found it upstairs and I found it. Yeah, but I found that one. The one you found? No, I put it. It was in that pile. I found it. And I saw the other one upstairs and I said, "Oh my God, we got a map." Put them on the list. Over your jeans.
She's gonna offer with the glasses.
You never wear them.
Those are perks if you're savage. Let me get out for me answer. I want boba, bro.
Ooh, I want like dumplings. Like and like
You could go out and get food right now.
yeah, if you would come over here. Please. I don't know.
Cause my mom.
Okay. Just try to come along. Or early after. I don't think I'm gonna go to school on Monday because it's like a Griffin work day. Which means that the teachers aren't allowed to like assign any work. And I'm already like coming late because of the Keystone, so I feel like there's no point.
Yeah.
But you're probably doing something Monday, right?
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर स्वासरी गौर भक्त हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम
हरे राम
हरे राम
हरे
राम राम
राम राम
हरे हरे
हरे हरे
Thank you everyone for coming to this regular Saturday program. So we are missing several devotees. Some are in Baltimore. As you know, there's a Adigadadar Prabhu program going on. So some devotees have gone there, and some devotees didn't turn up because of the weather. It's pretty cold out there. Thank you everyone again for coming in spite of inclement weather. So today we'll hear Srimad Bhagavatam from His Grace Shyam Kumar Prabhu. He's here, and we'll be reading sloka verse number. Can you remember? 1.3.31. So please open up your phone. Okay, vedabase.io. It's 1.3.31. And as you all know, you don't need introduction of Shyam Kumar Prabhu. He's our dear beloved member of our Bensalem group for more than 20 years. He's been serving ISKCON Philadelphia also in various roles. He was board of directors, he was vice president, and he's a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. It got initiated in the year 2012, right? 2012. Okay. So let's all hear from him. Please put your phones in vibrate mode and be attentive, because at the end of the session we'll be hearing reflections and there'll be question answers, and then prasadam. And Saturday's school will start now. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritva
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki
Nama Sankirtanam Yasya
Nama Sankirtanam Yasya
Sarva Papa Pranashanam
Sarva Papa Pranashanam
Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha
Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha
Tam Namami Harim Param
Tam Namami Harim Param
Nama Sankirtanam Yasya
Nama Sankirtanam Yasya
Sarva Papa Pranashanam
Sarva Papa Pranashanam
Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha
Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha
Tam Namami Harim Param
Tam Namami Harim Param
Nama Sankirtanam Yasya
Nama Sankirtanam Yasya
Sarva Papa Pranashanam
Sarva Papa Pranashanam
Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha
Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha
Namami Harim Param
Namami Harim Param.
Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, text number 31. Please repeat. Yatha nabhasi meghaugo Renurva parthivo nile
Renurva parthivo nile
Evam drishtari drishtavyam
Evam drishtaviri drishtavyam
Sorry. Evam drishtari drishyatvam
Evam drishtai drishyatvam
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
यथा नभसि न मेघागो
धामेनसि भृङ्गिधागो
रेणुर्वा पार्थिवो निले
वा पार्थिवो निले
एवं दृष्टरिदृष्टव्यम्
एवं विदृष्टविदृष्टव्यम्
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
यथा नभसि मेघागो
धामनसि भेमेघोगो
रेणुर्वा पार्थिवो निले
वेणुर्वा पार्थिवो निले
एवं दृष्ट्यत्वम्
एवं दृश्यत्वम्
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः.
Anyone wants to repeat?
यथा नभसि मेघ ओघ
यथा मेनसि मेघोगो
रेणु पार्थिव अनिले
रेणु पार्थिव अनिले
एवं द्रष्टरिदृश्यत्वम्
एवं दृष्टरिदृश्यत्वम्
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conception on the spirit self. Purport. It is further confirmed herein that with our material eyes and senses, we cannot see the Lord, who is all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists within the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his gross body. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with the material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called the Virata Rupa. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, which can be seen very easily, we identify the car with the man within the car. When the president goes out in his particular car, we say, "There is the president." For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately without necessary qualification are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord, although the Lord is within and without. The clouds in the sky and blue of the sky are better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different. We conceive of the color of the sky as blue, but that is a general conception for the layman only. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः.
Hare Krishna. So, just to connect with the context, we are in the third chapter, first canto. So it's always good to just remind us again from the beginning. Sutta Goswami is speaking to all the sages in Naimisharanya, and these sages asked Sutta Goswami a number of questions. So we categorize them as 6 questions, right? And then in the second chapter and third chapter, Suta Goswami has begun to answer these questions. So the first question that was asked was Purusha ekantatah shreyas. What is the most beneficial, one thing that is most beneficial to the human being? So we are all human beings. So we have taken birth in this form. So what is our business? What is that one most beneficial thing that we have to strive for? Right? Second thing is Bhurini Bhuri Karmani Shrotavyani Vibhagashaha. So the Shastras, the scriptures, they are various, right? So them being various and there are conflicts, apparent conflicts that seemingly exist, what is the essence of all the scriptures? What is it that the scriptures are talking about? So explain to us about the essence of the scriptures. This is the second question that was asked, right? Now, the remaining four questions, they are connected with Supreme Lord Krishna. So one is, Krishna appeared as son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So what is the purpose of his appearance? That was the third question. Fourth question is, Krishna has taken many other incarnations, avatars. So give us information about what avatars he has taken, right? Fourth question. Fifth question is, in this avatar, in each one of these avatars, he has performed various leelas, various activities he has performed. So tell us about those activities, because those activities are purifying, they are most attractive, right? And the last question they asked is, now that Krishna has gone back, this is happening, this conversation is taking place at the end of Dwapara Yuga. Krishna has already returned back to the spiritual world. Now that he has gone back, Krishna came to establish dharma because adharma was prevalent. Now that he's gone back, who's going to protect dharma? Dharmaha kam sharanam gataha. So who is going to be the protector of dharma, or whose shelter has dharma taken? 6 questions, right? So Suta Goswami started answering. The first 2 questions were answered in the second chapter, and this chapter Suta Goswami has started answering question number 4 and 5. The fourth question especially speak to us about various incarnations. So he's talked to, in this chapter we've discussed about 22 incarnations. There are innumerable incarnations, out of which 22 have been discussed, right? And then briefly the activities, the leelas of those incarnations are also described. Question number 4 and 5 are being answered here, right? Now, entire Bhagavatam is an expansion of this itself. Krishna's in various incarnations and his interaction with his devotees, and as Krishna's devotees, what we have to learn, and then Krishna's pastimes in Krishna Leela. So 10th canto, especially entire 10th canto, right? Now, a gist of this has been spoken. So till verse number 38, where it's established, 28, where it's established, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So 22 avatars have been talked about. Then it says, Ete Chamsha Kala Pumsaha. All these are incarnations. All these are Kala or Pumsaha of Krishna. They are expansions of Krishna, or those avatars have special power invested by Krishna. Kala, right? But then Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. Then 2 weeks back we covered about Phalashruti. That means every chapter more or less has this Phalashruti. That means what is the phala, what is the benefit one derives out of engaging oneself or intently involve oneself in studying deeply about the subject matter that's mentioned in the chapter. So in Phalashruti, we said, what is it? Janma Guhyam Bhagavataha. It says Bhagavataha, of the Supreme Lord, Janma Guhyam, Guhyam mystery of Janma appearance. Janma Guhyam Bhagavataha, Yaha Etat Prayato Naraha. Naraha, all as human beings, right? Who Prayataha, who make an endeavor, if we make an endeavor to what? Sayam Pratha Grinan Bhaktya. Sayam Pratha, evening and morning, Grinan, reciting, Bhaktya, in devotion, with utmost devotion. Then what happens? Dukkha Gramat Vimuchyate. So the phala is given. What is it? We have learned about 22 incarnations of the Supreme Lord. If we understand the mystery behind his appearance, and then we immerse ourselves, Sayam Pratah Grinan Bhaktya, in devotion. If we, Sayam Pratah doesn't just mean only in the evening and in the morning, it means always, from evening to morning and morning to evening. So we have to understand that. So if constantly we engage ourselves, Grinan Bhaktya, in reciting, in contemplating, in meditating on these avatars of Krishna, on these activities of Krishna, then what happens? Dukkha Gramat Vimuchyate. Dukkha Grama, this material universe is full of misery, right? So our purpose is Vimuchyate, to break the cycle of birth and death and go back. So that is the Phalashruti, 2 weeks back we covered, right? Now, in order to understand the mystery, Guhyam, of Bhagavataha Janmaha, of Supreme Lord's appearance, right? What we should do, that's given in these next 9 verses. Verse 31 till 39, they talk about what we could do or how we should actually act to understand the mystery about Supreme Lord. Bhagavataha Guhyam of Janma, right? How we can understand Supreme Lord's the secret, the mystery of this Supreme Lord, right? Now, one way how we can get break this cycle of birth, janma and mrityu. We are all in the cycle of samsara, which is you've taken a body, we take from infant to, we go from infant to child to boy, girl to adulthood to, somewhat grown up, and then become old and then die, right? Again, what happens when we leave that body? We go into another body. This is called transmigration, right? How do we break this cycle? Krishna says, one who has taken birth, he's for sure, he's going to die. One who's died, he's going to take birth again. How do we break this cycle, right? So that secret was given, that if you understand the secret of Supreme Lord's appearance, right? Now, appearance means Supreme Lord exists always, right? Even us, as Jivatmas, we are eternal, we are existing. But this form is temporary, right? This form that I have as of today, this form that all of you have, right? It's temporary. The form came, and then the form stays for some time, and then the form ceased to exist at certain point, right? But Bhagavataha Janma, appearance of Supreme Lord is not temporary. Supreme Lord's form is always permanent. We have to remember that. And then the cycle that we are talking about, we break this cycle only if we see Supreme Lord in that form. That is called self. That is called the Brahman, the Paramatma, Bhagavan realization, right? Prabhupada said many times, just like the way I am talking to you, I'm sitting here and talking to you, you can actually see Krishna face to face and talk to him, right? So when we come to that level, that means we are liberated. That means we will not come back to the material world in the cycle, right? Now, how do we accomplish that? How do we see Krishna face to face? So our goal is established. What is it? We want to get taken away from this cycle of birth and death. So in order to do that, we have to see Krishna face to face. So how do we see Krishna face to face? So a part of this was covered in the previous verse, right? Now, Krishna's form is not material. Here also it is says arupasya. It is saying arupasya, and then there is what is the second word that's used here? Arupasya and Chidatmanaha. Chit Atmanaha is Atma is made out of Chit, Now, Atma is overloaded. It's used in different contexts in different ways, right? Atma can mean body, Atma can mean mind, Atma can mean intelligence, Atma can mean soul, right? But here, Atma, Chit Atmanaha, Atma is referring to Krishna's body. What is Krishna's body made out of? It is not like this material energy. It is not five elements. Our body is made out of five elements, right? Bhumir, Apo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, right? So earth, fire, water, air, ether. And then this is temporary. It stays for some time, it goes away. But Krishna's body is not made out of material energy. It is Chid Atmanaha. That Chit Atmanaha. Chit actually means full of knowledge, right? Now, Krishna's body is completely filled with knowledge. That body is Arupa. Rupa is form. Arupa means it has no form. So, no form does not mean Krishna does not have a form. No form means Krishna does not have a form like what we have. We have a material form, but Krishna doesn't have a material form. So, Arupasya, Krishna doesn't have a material form, Chidatmanaha, because his body, his form is fully made out of knowledge, full knowledge, right? How do we see that? Now, we cannot see Krishna's body, which is transcendental, which is material from material senses. It's not possible. There was one lecture long back, I forget the Prabhu's name in Chowpatty temple. He was talking about you use different instruments to actually discover different things, right? Like, for example, if you want to see bacteria, what do you use? A microscope, right? Now, if you want to measure, say, what is the distance, or like measure how long this phone is, or how wide this phone is, what do you use? A scale, right? Now, can I use a scale to see microscope? It's not possible, right? Because it's not made for that, right? I cannot at the same time use a microscope to measure what the length of this phone is, right? Similarly, our senses, they're material. Now, material senses cannot comprehend something that is spiritual, something that is transcendental to material sense. So we cannot see. If we say, show me the God, show me God, then I'll believe that the God exists, right? Our material senses are not capable of seeing the God. Now, if you cannot see the God, then how do you know God exists? What is the point of these 22 incarnations? You're saying these 22 incarnations exist, and then if you recite these incarnations, and you will understand the secret behind it, and then if you understand the secret behind it, you'll go back to spiritual world. How do we do that? Because if our senses do not support seeing the God, I cannot see the God, that means I cannot break this cycle of birth and death. How do I do it, right? So, to understand that, the previous verse, they said, there is something that you can see and relate. It's a gradual process. What is it called? Virat Rupa. Virat Rupa is made out of what? Maya Gunair Virachitam. In the previous verse it said, Maya Gunair Virachitam. Rachitam. This form, the Virat Rupa that we discussed last week, Rachitam, Virachitam, it was made out of what? Maya Gunair. Maya is Krishna's external energy. And Krishna says, my external energy consists of what? Bhumir, Apo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, Mana, Buddhir, Evacha, Ahankara. Itiyame, Bhinna, Prakritir, Ashtada. So 8 separated energies of Krishna. That is actually the material energy. So Krishna is saying, you have the Maya, which is material energy, that has created all this, and that creation starts from Mahat Adivihi. From the beginning, there was only Mahat Tattva. So he's talking about universal creation. So let's go back to the just to see what this universal creation looks like. So we have, we read about Karunadakashayi Vishnu. From Karunadakashayi Vishnu, when he is breathing in, annihilation takes place of all the universes. When he breathes out, universal creation takes place, right? So when he breathes out from the pores of his body, these universes get created, right? And the universes, when they get created, Karunadakashaya Vishnu expands himself as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Garbhodakashaya Vishnu goes into a universe, a huge each universe, and lies down there on a ocean that he creates out of his own sweat. That is called Garbha Udaka. Udaka means water. And then from this Garbhodakashaya Vishnu's navel comes a, 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 a stem on top of which there is a lotus flower. There, Brahmaji is created. And then this Garbhodakashaya Vishnu expands himself into Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, right? So Brahmaji, who is created on the lotus leaf, lotus flower, is then in charge of creating the material universe. So how does that material universe get created? He needed some material to create that, right? Now whatever we see here, earth, fire, water, air, ether, right? All this is coming from somewhere. Where is that coming from? That is coming from Mahat Tattva. This is the sum total of all the material energy, right? So that Mahat Tattva is the most subtle form of the energy of Krishna. It is external energy of Krishna. It is the most subtle form. That is why we are not able to see. What is the grossest form? Earth. Right? We can see Earth. Bhumi, we can see, like there is, we can touch, we can smell, we can see, we can taste. All these exist. We can hear, right? Bhumi is the grossest. When it's the grossest, we can actually experience it, right? But then the most subtlest, we are not able to see. Forget about Mahat Tattva. So Mahat Tattva is used, it expands into Ahankara Tattva. Ahankara Tattva expands into three other parts, Vaikharika, Taijasa and Tamasa Ahankara. And these in turn expand into 24 material elements, 24 material elements. We know that there are Panchabhutas, there Pancha Tanmatras, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, then Pancha Karmendriya and Pancha Gnanendriya, and then Buddhi, Ahankara and Mana, and 24th one is Mahatattva. So these become the four elements, right? Now, using this Mahadadibihi, if we have created this material universe, how do we understand Krishna? That is the question we are coming back to, right? Now, Krishna has created all this. Now, using this, how do we understand Krishna? The most grossest is what is earth, right? Now, when we go from the grossest to the subtlest, we are finding it difficult to understand. See, grossest is earth. So the way it is created, the first element that gets created is Vayu. Akasha. Akashad Vayu, Vayur Agni, Agnir Apaha, Adya Prithvi, right? So Akasha gets created, most subtlest, right? From Akasha comes Vayu, air element. Then from Vayu comes Agni. Agni comes Apa, water. From water comes Prithvi, right? These are the from subtlest to the grossest, right? Now, even the subtlest, Akasha, right? Now, we cannot see Akasha, we cannot see Vayu, right? Now, if you're saying we cannot see Akasha itself, what is the chance of seeing the most subtlest, which is even subtler than Akasha? Vayu is Akasha. Even subtler than Akasha is its source, which is Ahankara Tattva. Even subtler than Ahankara Tattva is Mahat Tattva. Even subtler than Mahat Tattva is the super soul, the soul, Jivatma. Even subtler than that is Supreme Soul, right? We cannot see Vayu Tattva itself, the air itself, using our senses. How can we see Krishna? It is not possible, right? Now, that being the situation, this analogy in this verse, it's talking about why we are not able to see Krishna in order for us to go back to spiritual world. Why? Because it says abuddhibihi. The last sentence, the last word used in the verse, it talks about abuddhi, right? The two analogy that is given here, right? What we can see and what we cannot see. So through two analogies that is given here is there is sky, we cannot see, right? But then clouds we can see, right? So when clouds cover up the sky, we can say the sky is cloudy, right? But we've never seen the sky, right? The blue color also that we see, it is not the color of the sky, right? The light, sun's light actually gets scattered by Earth's atmosphere, and then our eyes are sensitive to blue, the blue light that is part of the white light, and that is why it appears as if it's blue, right? It's not that we are seeing sky. Similarly, it's more even evident in the example of air and dust, right? Now, air is here everywhere. We cannot see the air, right? But if there is some dust, like these sandstorms, like you've seen in Middle East, right? The whole sky becomes orange, yellowish, right? You can see the air carrying these things, right? So the air cannot be seen, subtlest, right? But we can see what is there. Dust we can see. So what we can see, if we begin with that and then progress, then we can see what we cannot see. So the grossest is what? Earth, right? So this Virat Rupa is nothing but what we can see. So if we begin by understanding and what we see, then we can get to something that we cannot see. See, this is the whole concept. This is where they are taking us to, right? Starting from Virat Rupa, they are saying you can relate to something that you can see. Like in Virat Rupa, they talk about, forget about the different planetary systems. We do not know different planetary systems. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Patala, we don't know, right? Can we see, for example, trees? We can see trees. Now, in Virat Rupa, there is this conception that trees are considered as the body hairs of the Supreme Lord. So when we see trees, if we think, wow, this is the Supreme Lord's hair, bodily hair, then we are connecting with Supreme Lord, right? Then next thing, we see mountains. Mountains are considered in Virat Rupa as Supreme Lord's bones. We see mountains, then we see, oh, Krishna's bones, right? We are somehow connecting to Krishna. So the whole idea of Virat Rupa taking us to see Krishna is we are relating to something and connecting to Krishna. That is the whole idea. What is the most important thing? Smaranam. What is it? Ante Narayana Smritihi, right? Janma Labha Parapumsa, Ante Narayana Smritihi. So Janma Labha, we have taken Janma. What is the Labha? What is the most thing that we can benefit from this? Ante Narayana Smritihi. Smriti. How do we remember Krishna? That is most important. So if you see trees, if you think, oh, this is Krishna's hair, bodily hair. We see clouds. Clouds is considered Krishna's hair on the head. Then we say, oh, this is connected to Krishna. This is hair of Krishna, right? And we see ocean. Ocean is Krishna's waist. We see the air. When we feel air, air is considered Virat Rupa's breath. So everything that we experience, everything that we can connect to, everything that we can relate to, if we take our mind to connect that to Krishna, our smaranam gets improved, right? So that is the entire purpose. So they're take the Virat Rupa. What you can see, what you can perceive from your senses, you start from that. Constantly meditate. Think about Krishna. Connect with Krishna. When that process becomes established, that I'm thinking about Krishna, I'm connecting with Krishna, then what happens? At some point, we will be able to see from the most grossest to the subtlest. It's possible, right? One example that Prabhupada gives is an iron rod, right? When you keep it in iron, right? What happens when I keep iron rod in fire? What happens to the iron rod after a long time? Iron rod becomes like fire, right? So it acquires the qualities of what it is associating with. So same example, when we constantly associate in remembering Krishna, smaranam of Krishna, right? Our mind is constantly engaged in connecting everything that we see to Krishna. Then what is happening? Slowly our senses that are material, they are getting spiritualized. That is called purification, right? This is what Mahaprabhu said, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, right? Our Chetaha, or mind, is considered to a Darpana, a mirror, right? The mirror is now covered with dust. Just like when clouds are covering the sky, we cannot see the sky. When the air is clear, no dust in the air, we cannot see the air, right? But when we clear up the mirror of our mind, what happens? Darpana Marjanam. Darpana is the mirror. You clean it up, right? We stand in front of a mirror that is dusty, we cannot see ourselves, right? We being spirituals. But then, if you use Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, what does it do? Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, it's doing marjanam. That means it's doing the cleaning up for you. That means from the grossest, which is like, I know earth, I know air, I know Agni, right? These elements, from using these elements through your senses, you can get to a point where you can understand your own self to begin with. That is called self-realization. You can understand, I'm not this body, but I'm spiritual. When you get to that level, then the next step itself is you'll be able to see Krishna as a spirit, not the material form, Krishna's spiritual form, right? So that is the entire process that this is leading to. So start with what you know, right? So Srila Rupa Goswami says this again. Shri Krishna Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriyai. It says Atha, therefore, Shri Krishna Nama Adi. Lord Shri Krishna's Nama, name, Adi. Adi also means Krishna's name is not different from Krishna. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Adi means all these things. Nama, when we take Krishna's name, it should lead us to think about Krishna's form. Krishna, like for example, if I say Radha Sharad Bihari, what do we remember? Radha Sharad Bihari's forms comes, right? If I say Radha Madhav, I can remember Radha Madhav in Mayapur. If I say Radha Vrindavan Chandra, I can remember Radha Vrindavan Chandra in New Vrindavan, right? So Nama should lead to Rupa. Krishna's form should come, right? How does that come? If we meditate on it, if we constantly contemplate on it, right? So Nama leads to Rupa. When we think about Rupa, if you say Krishna Nama led to Radha Sharad Bihari, right? Rupa. And then Rupa should lead us to Guna. Like for example, if I say Rama, what do we remember? Maryada Purushottam, right? The first thing that comes to mind is Maryada Purushottam. Krishna, what is that? Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. We see Krishna killing many. So the qualities of the Supreme Lord gets actually connected with us. Why? Because we constantly think about Krishna, right? So Nama leads to Rupa. Rupa leads to Guna. We contemplate on Krishna's gunas, qualities. Then Leela. So that is the most involved state, right? We see many devotees, when you just tell them Krishna's name, they go into trance, right? Same with Shukadeva Goswami, same with Uddhava. When Uddhava meets Vidura, just when Vidura says Krishna, the name Krishna, Uddhava goes into trance. Why? Because he is thinking about Leela. He was so deeply immersed with Krishna, so deeply invested in Krishna, constantly thinking about it. Just the name will lead to Rupa, Guna, Leela. Same thing happens with us. Like anybody that you like, if somebody comes and then you haven't met somebody that you really like so much and just tells you their name, you'll remember all the pastimes you've had with them, right? Why? Because you're constantly engaged in thinking about that person in that way, right? Same thing, we have to get to that level as far as Krishna is concerned. When we get to that level, then what happens? The most subtlest, transcendental form of Krishna becomes visible. So the next few verses actually take us to that level. How? By just hearing Krishna's name, about his avatars, about his Leela, how that can actually take us to the Janma Guhyam of Bhagavataha, of the Supreme Lord. And then it would lead us to what? Taking us out of Dukkha Gramad Vimuchyate. So that is the important thing. So it's 7:21. I'd like to stop here. And we can take some reflections. Again, thank you, Mataji, for coming. I know you're here for the first time. So we just pass the mic around. We discuss about some reflections, like what we heard, what you heard, and what you want to repeat if you want to. And the idea is, if we say something, it stays with us. Whatever we hear, it may not stay with us. If we say something, then it stays with us because we are processing that information. Even if it's just one sentence, it's good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think my favorite takeaway from today's lecture was the example of dust in the air and how we're able to see the movement of the air if there is dust in it for us to observe, and how that can be compared to using what we can see to look beyond that and think about what might not be perceivable with our senses.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. So the whole idea of our sadhana is to go from what we perceive from our senses, through our senses as of now, to what we can perceive by purifying those senses. And the process that we use is chanting. Chanting, if you talk to those that have experienced this, if you talk to, they will attest to this, that once the sense purification happens, you will be able to actually see Krishna, talk to him. Somebody was mentioning this recently. Was it this Prabhu yesterday? Yeah, last week, right? Prabhuji was mentioning about what happened in Berkeley with Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was standing in front of the deities, greeting the deities, and then Prabhupada was actually talking to deities. Are they feeding you well? Are they taking care of you? Right? The person that was standing next to him could only hear what Prabhupada was saying. He couldn't hear what Krishna was talking, right? Now, Prabhupada is using the same senses, but then the senses are purified to a level where these are spiritualized. When the senses become spiritualized, this is Krishna's energy, right? Krishna can make senses from material to spiritual. Just like Prabhupada always gives this example of you use the same electricity when it runs through fridge, it becomes cold. When it runs to a heater, it becomes hot, right? Same energy. You can either make it cold or hot. Same way, Krishna's same energy can be either material or spiritual. When it is material, you cannot see Krishna. When it is spiritual, you can see Krishna, right? So that is the whole idea. So part of our sadhana is to take our senses from the place where we cannot see, cannot perceive subtle transcendental matters to something that we can perceive subtle transcendental matter. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. This was actually a nice lesson, but the sloka is also the most complex ever I heard by so far to recite. And this sloka, but like you said, from this 31 to 39 chapter, we have how we can attend to spiritual God by doing smarana and bhakti, how it can lead to swarg. This is most important. This is kind of ultimate goal to get up to man. So that's all right.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't only give you bullet points, like it said, Dukkha Grama Vimuchyate, right? And if you really study Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is what Srila Prabhupada said, you have to study Srimad Bhagavatam, not read Srimad Bhagavatam. So the next 9 verses, if you study, then the process, how we can accomplish what was said in 29 is actually given, that entire process. If one studies it in detail, that's given. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The one I like it is when you are meditating Krishna's name, right? So try to connect the form of Krishna, and then from there connect with the qualities of Krishna, and then the Leela in order to get it purified and then get it more connected to the spiritual. That's the point I like. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Today's my takeout is like how we reach like grossest to subtlest thing, I mean subtlest Rupa of Bhagavan. It's like Guna, Rupa and by Leela. So after that we can see that subtlest story.
Thank you. Yeah, that reminds me, Srila Prabhupada many times established, Krishna comes and resides in the deities, right? Why? Because we can only perceive what we can see. Like either it could be Ashila, it could be wood, like Jagannath deities are wood, right? Or it could be Pancha Loha, any Loha, right? Because these are the things that we can perceive. So Krishna is not. Krishna is everywhere in everything, right? But we cannot perceive that. The other example that's given is like cell phone waves, right? Those waves are around all of us right here, but we cannot actually hear those waves because we cannot tune into it. So Krishna is there, but we are unable to actually see Krishna. That's why Krishna comes in that form, so that we can begin connecting that way, and gradually by purifying our senses at a point where we can reach a point where we can see Krishna in everything and Krishna in everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar. Thank you for a nice class. My takeaway is thank you for explaining the Virat Rupa, how we can conceive Virat Rupa as our senses are material and limited. We can start with whatever we can imagine, That way we can slowly start and go to the thing. And then thank you for explaining the subtlest to the grossest element, how like first it starts with Vayu and then comes to Earth. And different example you gave. And then the last one is, if we remember Krishna when we chant, we should think about Krishna's form, pastime, Leela and Guna Rupa. That way we can start connecting Krishna.
Yeah, it's good to go that way. I remember Srila Prabhupada, it's a funny story that when Srila Prabhupada started, some hippie came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, when I'm chanting, I'm hearing these voices. So Prabhupada said, you keep chanting and they will go away. Obviously, they were under the influence and then they were seeing different things. What Prabhupada always said is, and it's true, Prabhupada said when we are chanting, the most important thing is Shravanam and Kirtanam. And people have personal experience. Different people are at different levels of advancement and then they see different things, right? So to begin with, Shravanam and Kirtanam, if one engages their mind in the next transformation from Nama to Rupa to Guna to Leela, that transformation automatically happens. One doesn't actually have to make an extra endeavor. So that transformation comes when the basics are actually followed and implemented. So Prabhupada said, Shravanam, Kirtanam, focus on that, and then the rest of that will just automatically happen. Like Atashri Nama, Krishna Namadi, it says Swayam Eva Spurat Adaha, right? So these revelations happen just because Krishna's mercy is there. And we have to only establish our connection with Krishna to show him our sincerity, and then the rest of the things are automatic. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Just my understanding today was like the Virat Rupa. We actually look at the Virat Rupa to conceive the material form of the Lord. Correct me if I am wrong. So that is what you can, spiritually you have to be more, like meditation. You should exercise and try to, go more and more spiritual. And the Virat Rupa is like a material form which you try to, imagine that, okay, the Lord is existing in this form. But actually it has to be more a spiritual kind of your thoughts and everything should be more towards that spirituality. You should try best to go towards that, take step to reach into that spiritual consciousness. That is what I understand.
Yeah. So the two principles there is smartavyaha satatam Vishnu na vismartavyo jatuchit. It says smartavyaha satatam Vishnu. So if we remember Krishna always with everything that we see, we interact, we connect, connecting it to Krishna. That is smartavyaha satatam Vishnu. Like last week Prabhu also was covering about rasoham apsukaunteya. When we are drinking water, Krishna says, I am the rasa, I am the essence of water in water, right? So when we are drinking water, if our mind can go to that, oh, this is Krishna, the taste in water is Krishna, right? That is actually smartavyaha satatam Krishna. That is always if we can remember Krishna. That is the principle. Then na vismartavyo jatuchit. Don't forget Krishna anyway, anytime, right? If we include those two, everything is automatic. And then the Virat Rupa is actually a part of that process to make us help remember Krishna.
So here one more question, like you said the Virat Rupa. Is it necessary that we should always try to visualize the Virat Rupa, or like what is the other way?
We can come back to questions. Just hold the question. Thank you. It's a good question, but we'll come back. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing good thoughts about Lord Krishna. And I'm new here, so I'm trying to catch up. But whatever you shared, like elemental, high elementals, how it was. So if you want to see the elemental clear form, we have to remove the dust or something like unwanted material. So for removing that unwanted material, how deeply we have to go? What is the way of we can remove? Because by doing our daily 10 to 12 hours regular job, so apart from that, how we can manage or how we can
Yeah, Prabhupada has given medicine. So it's just like if we are sick, we just take the medicine one time and then like the whole day, 24 hours, it's working, right? So Prabhupada says, morning Brahma Muhurta, get up, chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the beach. Then the whole day, whether you're working, whether you're doing something else, right? You're actually connected with Krishna. And then Krishna will from within, as Chaitya Guru, give one intelligence as to how he can constantly be connected with Krishna, even though he's seemingly doing other things. So that comes through practice. Like Prabhupada. Prabhupada was running an organization, ISKCON, all over 6 continents. And Prabhupada was always connected with Krishna, right? How is that possible? Hare Krishna Mantra, especially in this age of Kali. So if one starts the chanting of the mantra, slowly as one progresses, they themselves can realize that, like even though they are doing so many other things, right? Just like multitasking, like some people are very good at multitasking, right? How are they able to do that? Because they're trained themselves, right? They're doing like 10 things at the same time. But for us, I can do only one thing, right? How can the other person do 10 things at the same time? Because he's trained to do that, right? Our brain, our faculties are so powerful, they actually have the capabilities, but we don't know how to enable them. And depending on our intention, depending on our sincerity and intensity, Krishna will actually enable them as we progress. And sincerity is very important. There are genuine cases where we cannot spend our time entirely, as we said, like 10, 12 hours, I cannot focus on Krishna, right? Krishna understands that. Krishna knows more than us. And whatever is possible, we should do from our end. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I really liked the class. What stuck with me the most was that because we're not this body, we shouldn't prioritize the material things. Like we should obviously have goals, achievements, like a sense of self, but that sense of self shouldn't be our material self. It should be our spiritual self. That way, when we prioritize our spiritual self more, everything's just more balanced, and you have a clearer view of the world and where your priority should be.
Even in this verse, the example that is given is sky and clouds, right? The second example given is air and dust, right? Now, actually, dust making the air dusty or dirty is temporary phenomena, right? Dust is temporary, but air is permanent, right? So the comparison is spiritual, spirit soul, or even the supreme Lord is permanent, eternal, right? But the material forms, like us having this form, it is temporary. So that is actually um, the example, the analogy, that is a comparison. Same with sky. Sky exists forever, right? For a small time, clouds may cover for a day, for 2 days, for a week, right? But sky existed forever. Our vision is covered with the clouds, right? And then the clouds get cleared away, which is temporary. So we should focus on something that is permanent, right? Spirit soul.
I thought the lesson was interesting. I like the way that you compared, like when you explained how we could see Krishna, you explained it with like modern day terms, so it was like easier to understand.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Today you tell us like the different avatar of Krishna and breaking the cycle of a birth and death and getting mukti and just make the most.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In today's class, I learned that you should always try to remember Krishna. As you said in the class, like you should think of the trees as like hairs of Krishna. So when you keep remembering him, you'll go from like remembering his name to his rupa to his guna and then to his pastimes. And then that will help in breaking the cycle of birth and death.
Yeah, so I think this should be our desire. That's actually Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam exists, as we said, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashtoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So that attachment, bhakti, that bhakti is nothing else but our attachment to Krishna. That should become solidified, right? If we desire, Krishna will fulfill that. Enough. Krishna is just looking for our intense desire. If we intensely desire that, Krishna will fulfill.
So, the systematic way how to attain liberation or how to go back to Krishna is, you explained very nicely, and then very eager to know with the following verses how to connect to Krishna. So that was very nice. Thank you. So there are some online devotees. Let's hear from them.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Vatsala.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, you were talking about Virat Rupa, and we think Krishna is everywhere, but we don't think of it like in a specific term. But when you explain to us, like the trees you consider as his hair, and then the clouds are his, the head filled with hair. So different things, the body, the mountains are his bones or something. So I think thinking about specific things, and then it can also I think solidify or deepen our understanding of Krishna. Even though we may think Krishna is everywhere, he's situated in every atom. I think sometimes we have to go deeper and then do. This verse is really good. Not only thinking about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, singing about Krishna. I think maybe, I don't know whether we will have a chance to see Krishna, but he is going to see us. I think definitely he's seeing us. Maybe one day we will get a chance to see him too. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. I think one thing to make clear there, as you said, Krishna is everywhere, right? But Krishna is still a person. We have to not mix this one up. Krishna is not just like Akasha. Like sky is there everywhere. Space is there everywhere. Um, Krishna is a person, just like light, even though it is present in one place, through its energy, it actually makes everything visible, right? So light may be present in one corner of the room, but the entire room gets the light, right? Similarly, Krishna is still a person. The Virat Rupa is Krishna's energy. We have to be very clear about that. And then through his energies, Krishna is actually spread in everything, everywhere. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Anybody else online?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Mr. Srila Prabhupada. This is Saujanya Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Prabhuji, mainly the way you connected ultimately Atha Shri Krishna Namadi. So that was very thing like, okay, ultimately name. Let's say even if we think of anybody like friend or relative or any kind of evil, the moment you think of the name, naturally you think of the form and then, oh my, like that. But ultimately thinking of Krishna's name, what kind of benefit we'll have. I like that part, Prabhuji. And the second thing is, like you said, focus on what we can see, then automatically you'll get you don't have to worry about what you cannot see, but with our senses, what if you make that effort, and like Krishna is assuring that by purification you will see what you're actually supposed to see. So that was very touching. I felt that just took up, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think impersonalists who do not believe in the personal form of the God can take advantage of the Virat Rupa of the Krishna, so that they can meditate on it and get benefited out of that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Makarand Prabhu had a question.
So Prabhu, what I was asking is that you mentioned about this Virat Rupa. So to imagine, or is there any other way that we can, look at Krishna instead of the Virat Rupa?
Yeah. So in one way, Virat Rupa is also it uses the principle of neti neti, right? If one wants to discover Krishna, they could actually go check, Krishna is this tree Krishna, is this mountain Krishna, is this river Krishna, is this sea Krishna, right? Air Krishna, or, is fire Krishna, is sun Krishna, is moon Krishna, right? All this is neti neti principle. Like in Gnana Yoga, this is called Arohana Panta. One way is like I believe in my own experimentation. So it might take multiple janmas. Krishna says, Bahunam janma namante Gnanavan mam prapadyate. So this Gnani, what he is doing, he is trying to evaluate everything himself. Like, is this air, is this Krishna? Is this, planet, it's Krishna? Is this fire, Krishna? Right? But then ultimately, he has to come to the point where he has to surrender to Krishna. Nanavan mam prapadyate. Then he understands Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Krishna is the source of everything, right? Samahatma Sudirlipa. So that is one way. So we can actually try to ourselves use many lifetimes and then, say, okay, is this Krishna? No, is this Krishna? No, right? The second way that is given is Avarohana Panta. Panta means one way, right? Avarohana means the knowledge comes to us from top to down. Now in our Sampradaya, it is called Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya, right? So the knowledge came from Supreme Lord to Brahmaji. that then Brahmaji passed it on to Srila Madhvacharya, then Gaudiya Sampradaya, it came down that way, right? So the knowledge is there. Now, how we actually take this knowledge and then go back to Krishna. So it is, both paths are open to us, right? One, Krishna already says it takes Bhaunam Janmanamante. And then with the Bhakti mark that we are following, where we just surrender to our Guru and then accept what he says and follow his instructions, and then that will also take us to Krishna. So depends on where one's leanings is. Like some people, they are highly invested in Bhakti doesn't have an impact on me. Then you want to go down Gnana Marga, sure, one can take that path. That will eventually lead to Krishna. So depending on one's leanings, depending on where one's interest is, right? One can do either. They will reach Krishna eventually if they want to get to Krishna. Thank you, Krishna.
Anyone else has any questions?
Yeah, but in Gita, Krishna himself said, right, Prabhuji, the Bhakti Marga is much more easiest way to reach him, right? As compared to the other Marga.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the most preferred one that as Vaishnavas we follow, the best path that's suggested is Bhakti Marga.
Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Okay, so anyone else? No? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Very interesting session. That's where Srimad Bhagavatam, systematic study. Its ultimate goal is to know about Krishna. As he said, remember Krishna always and don't forget. So to remember, you have to keep studying about Krishna. It's not reading Srimad Bhagavatam, studying. Studying means analysis. We all are engineers, right? So we are very logical. So think about logical. And yeah, thank you very much, Shyam Prabhu, for a wonderful session. Jai. Jai. So I would like to welcome you devotees today. Sorry, Mataji, your name? Ketan. 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 Okay, sorry about that. And your daughter? Ria. Okay. Raj. Oh, wonderful name. So, Ketal, Mataji, Ria, and Raj. Let's welcome by chanting 3 times Haribol. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Thank you very much for coming. And also welcome back Rama Chittirala and his daughter. After a long time we are seeing them. Thank you, Prabhu, for remembering us. So hopefully I see you every week. Thank you. So now it's kids session. Kids, you can come up to the stage. All the kids. Who wants to go first? No, keep it here like this.
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुत्सवः मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किं कुर्वत सञ्जय Bhagavad Gita 2.11 Shri Bhagavan उवाच अशोचानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासुंस गतांसुंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डितः 2.12 न त्व एवाहं जातुनाशं न त्व नेमे जनाधिपा न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परा 2.13 देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारम्योपरञ्जनः तथा देहान्तरप्राप्ते धीरस्तत्र मुह्यति 2.14 मातृस्पृशास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्णासुखदुःखदः आगमापायिनो नित्यास्तां चितिष्वस्य भारत 4.11 ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तां तथैव व्रजाम्यहं मम अनुवर्तन्ते मनुष्यपात सर्वशः As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Page 1.1 Dharma Shete Karukshetre Samvedaya Yotsava Mamaka Pandava Cheva
Kimu Kurvata Sanjay, Viji 2.11. Ashoshan Vendo Shosista, Bhagna Vadam Tapatasi, Katasum Katasum Cha, Nanushosandi Pandita. 2.12. Natamevam Jashnasam Natam Nimachanardapa Nachivam Nabhavishama Sarvamaya Mataparam 2.13 Dehi Nospinyata Dehi Komarvam Yovanam Jara Tata Deham Dharavapte Jiras Tatvana Moyate 2.14 Matas Prashastu Gonteya Shito Nashukatukaha Agama Paino Nityas Tamtateva Tamtatisha Pajanya Bharata 4.11 Yayatama Pavanyante Tamteva Pajanya Mama Vart Manuvartante Manusharpata Sarvasa. Translation. All of them, as all of them surrendered unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. O son of Pata.
PG 1.1 Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra Samaveta Yuyutsava Mamaka Pandava Siva Kima Gurata Sanjaya 2.11 Shivana Vacha Asoshayanan Vasosha Swam Pragna Vadam Shabhasase Gadasuna Gadasum Nanu Soshanti Pandita 2.12 Natva evaham jatunasham natvam neme janadipa nacheva nabhavishamaha sarve vayam ataparam 2.13 Dehi nosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tada dehantara praptir tirastatra muhyati 2.14 Matras prashastu konte yashitos nasukudakada agama paino nityastamsi dikshoshta bharata 4.11 Ye yatamam prapadyante tamsadeva jamyaham mama manuvartante manusha partha sarvashaha. Translation. All of those as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha.
I'll be only doing this week's shloka since, BG 4.11 Ye yatamam prapadyante tanstataiva bhajamyaham mama vartamana vartante manushyaha partha sarvasha. Translation. All of them as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha.
Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Mamaka Pandavacheva Kimu Kurvata Sanjaya Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sochayanan Sochastvam Pragya Vadam Shabhasise Gata Suna Gata Sunscha Snani Sochanti Pandita Natvevaham Jatunasam Natve Neme Janadipana Chaivam Bhavishyama Sarve Vayamata Param Dehi Nosmin Yata Dehe Kaumaram Yavanam Jara Tata Dehantara Praptir Tiras Tatrina Muhyati Mata Sparshasta Kontaya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Painu Nityastam Satikshesva Bharata ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तांसतैव भजाम्यहं मम वर्तमानो वर्तन्ते मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वशः. All of them, after they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in respects, O son of Pritha.
Yada yada hi dharmasya Bhavati Glanirбhavata Advitanamadharmasya Tatatmanam Shachamyaham Dhatrashtra Vacha Dharmakshete Kurukshetre Samavetaye Yutsavaha Mamaka Pandavascheva Kimyagurvata Sanjaya Shri Bhagavan Vacha Asosyananda Sosastvam Prajnavadam Sabhashase Mam Katasar Agatasimscha Nanu Sosamti Pandita Natveham Jatana Sam Natvam Neme Janadipa Nansheva Nabhavishyamaha Sarvadayama Taparam Tehinosmin Yatatehe Garmaram Yavanam Jara Tatate Hantaram Prapti Tirasatra Namuhyati Matasparsastakanteya Sitoshna Sukadukata Agama Pahino Nityas Tamsatikshasva Bharata Yayatamam Prapadyante Tamsateham Bhajamiyaham Mama Vartmanu Vartante Manushya Parva Sarvasha. All of them as they surrender unto me, I will reward them accordingly. Everyone falls into my path in all respects, O son of Vrata.
No, they send it. People are watching. Go back. Little bit.
January 5th, if you catch up Krishna's lotus feet very tightly, then you will not fall down. January 6th, you are doing your duty very nicely, that's all right. But by doing your duty, if you do not develop your Krishna consciousness, then you are simply wasting your time. January 7th, sometimes there will be a little misunderstanding between God brothers. That is even going on amongst liberated souls. What is important is that everyone must engage in Krishna service under the direction of the spiritual master. January 8th. Retirement means to become cured from the diseased activities, but to place yourself in healthy activities. That is Krishna consciousness. January 9th. We must be fixed up in our own rupa, swarupa, siddhi. Swarupa siddhi means to be engaged in the service of the Lord. That is real mukti. January 10th. The powerful Harinama is so strong that even if one unconsciously or consciously they imitate Hare Krishna, they have no intention to chant the holy name of Krishna, but they imitate or criticize Hare Krishna. That also has effect. January 11th. We should learn to forget and forgive minor incidents because whenever there are two men in a place, there is always some misunderstanding.
Divine Grace Desi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So these are daily quotes he read for the entire week. And one of the interesting quote we just heard, right? Consciously or unconsciously, if you chant Mahamantra, you'll still be benefited. So please take up this process. Who is not chanting, please start chanting. At least one round. Who is chanting one round, please increase. And this is the best year. We just started this year. So please increase your rounds of chanting and attentively. Okay, consistently and attentively. So we have a chanting group. Every morning we start 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. So please, I'm going to send that link to you. Please, if possible, come to that group. There are many devotees, at least 7 to 8 devotees who join this call early morning, 4 and 4:30, chanting group. Okay, so please come. And also you saw this nice, wonderful kids reciting so many slokas, well trained by Her Grace Kirtida Kumari. So let's say loudly Hari Bol to her. Hari Bol. Thank you, Kirtida. And also before we end up, Makarand Prabhu's wife, very close cousin. He passed away, he left his body 2 days back. He was just 55 years old. Due to some cancer illness, he left his body. So let's all chant one Maha Mantra for his spiritual journey back to Godhead. Loudly, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. Also, if possible, you can call his wife and console her. She is a little bit disturbed. That's why she couldn't make it today. So, thank you. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Sulpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasva Naiva Jayate. Lovely. Sharira Vidya Ja Jadendriya Taheka Jiva Fele Vishesagare Taramate Jivahati Lobhomai Sudurmati Take Jeta Katina Samsare Krishna Borodayamai Puribara Jivajoy Swaprasad Anadilobai Sei Annamrita Pavo Sri Radha Krishna Gunagao Premera Ko Chaitanya Nitai Jai Nimai Jai Nitai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Shri Radha Krishna Mahaprasadam ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai and all the wonderful cooks ki Jai. Thank you for cooking this prasadam. Hari Bol. Online devotees, thank you and we'll see you next week. Hari Bol.